Welcome everyone. Okay. Welcome everyone to this evening's town planning meeting, Monday 5th of July. The meeting is being attended by Angus Scott from the Vincent Trust, who will provide an update on the development on Love Lane. That's Mike. Let's get
okay. Is there somebody coming in?
No. If you'd like to carry on, I think the mayor's dropped off, but I'll let her back in.
Okay. Do you want me to wait until she comes back on before
No, I think just start. It
Okay.
might be a few minutes.
Okay, so basically, I know that Crest Nicholson have recently submitted an application for a second phase, but they're obviously still on the first phase. They forward sold part of the site to Cllr, who are the affordable housing provider, and I know that I'm not sure where they are on occupations at the moment, but we are sort of, I suppose we're in breach in terms of delivering some of the off-site Section 278 works potentially, but we are on it. The highways are putting funds today for the design fees for approving the designs, which Jamie Hare has told us he's so far happy with. These are stage 2 designs for us, 2 zebra crossings, the improvements to the roundabout and a bus stop and traffic lights at the junction with the old London Road, the old A2, and a Love Lane. The issue in terms of getting the works done speedily is that, I mean, we've the other 2 Section 878 works, which KCC are actually in funds for the access at Love Lane, and we were looking to do those works last October, and they're in funds for those works with the contractor. That those works didn't come forward partly because of Operation Stack, and we didn't get a date until March when they could be done. But in light of the wider emerging plan, we've redesigned where the access is slightly, so those works have been put on hold. And we've got a planning meeting with the officers latter part of this week with respect to that. But in terms of street works, which is the department that you have to deal with KCC to close roads, they're not. They've told us that the traffic light improvements to Love Lane and the A2, they can't entertain a road closure there until the new year, so that we won't be able to bring those works forward until January at the earliest. In terms of other works, their preference is for those works not to come forward until September, but we would like to bring them forward this summer in July and August. The design fees have been paid to KCC. Jamie Hare's dealing with that, and they've got 21 days in which to respond to us. But I think he'll turn it around within the next fortnight, probably 10 days, hopefully. And what highways have said is that they would entertain those works being done this summer if we can provide them with a mission statement with respect to. Because they're worried about the trees that have got to be cut down, in terms of they don't want a full road closure. So if it can be done with just one lane closed with some temporary traffic lights, I think we can get most of those. We can get the zebra crossings at least done over the summer, because they can be done in 2 halves. So that's what we're trying to achieve, so that we can tick those off. And the one that would have to wait until the new year will be the improvements, the new traffic lights to go in on the junction with Love Lane and the London Road. But the other works, we would hope to have got them completed by the end of the year. But from a highways perspective, they've got quite a lot going on in the borough, so their road closures are problematic. from a traffic perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
So has anyone got any questions? Because I mean, I think that this is why because I spoke with Adriana a couple of weeks ago, and she thought it would be a good idea that put you in the picture. I mean, the only other thing to say is we should have been further down the design of this of what we're doing, but it's been difficult because this time last year the engineer we were using was furloughed, and then so that delayed things, and then we couldn't KCC Hire was very slow to come back to us in terms of who we should be dealing with, so things have slipped a bit, but we are on it and it is going to happen.
Great.
So
Councillor Saunders.
Yeah, a couple of things. I didn't quite catch, Angus, who you're representing and who you're
okay. So
I was a bit confused about the relationships of the various organisations.
Okay, so I'm representing the landowner who are Vincent Trust, right? Who own they still own the majority of the land at Love Lane and Graveney Road. The total site is about 67 acres. Crest Nicholson are building out 196 houses with 30% affordable on the site, although they forward sold 50% of the site to a social housing provider called Cllr. Cllr, I mean, I suppose that de-risked it from the residential developer's point of view, and in terms of not the uncertainty in terms of how well sales might go, depending on the economy when they finish building. But it seems to be going very well, and they've recently submitted an application for another 88 units, which I'm sure you're no doubt aware of, on the site, on the remainder of the site, which was allocated for residential in the previous plan, which is still current because the new plan hasn't been adopted. And that's I think that application went in about 8 weeks ago now.
Right. Can I ask a question? Because I know as a town council we've gone back to KCC because we're concerned about the speed of traffic on Love Lane. They've told us at the moment that they're not prepared to consider reducing the speed limit from 40 miles an hour, which to my mind seems ridiculous.
That seems bonkers. I didn't even know
a residential area
down there. I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, it feels like it should be a 30, doesn't it? But a lot of these areas now are becoming 20s, aren't they?
Exactly. Yes. Has there been any dialogue?
No dialogue
with developers?
I mean, I'm happy to raise it with them if you want me to, because I agree. I mean, I think it should be at least be a 30, if not a 20.
Yeah. Yes. Agreed. No, thank you.
I mean, you don't actually. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anyone driving as fast as 40 down there, anyway. But you don't. But it should be. I mean, it's crazy because you've got the pinch point where you go over the railway bridge.
Yeah.
And yeah. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, it's rather extraordinary that it isn't. But I'm more than happy to raise that.
I just think there was a question came in then. I didn't actually catch it. It went off my screen. Was it about the speed limit on the?
Yeah, it's Chris Oswald Jones asking, is the speed limit on the new development roads 20 miles per hour?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, some of the roads are not. I mean, some of the roads will have no speed limit in the sense that they're not adopted. It's when they're adopted that it becomes an issue. I would have thought. I mean, I would have thought that I would have thought the answer would be yes, but I don't actually know. And it's a good question, and I'll go away and find out if you like.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Yeah.
Okay. I mean, do you want me to tell you a bit more about the wider site, just so because while you're here, you're all here?
Yes, please.
So that we've also got a pre-app plan as respect to bringing forward some public open space.
Yeah, I thought that.
Which is the land, where the public footpath is. The public open space is pretty much the land towards the development from the public open space. Sorry, from the footpath, which runs. So you get lovely views from the swale from there, because it's slightly higher than some of the rest of the ground as it dips down. So we're in the process of designing that and giving and presenting our thoughts to the local authority. But that's something else as well that we're looking to make an application on, together with some employment uses, and we're looking at we're also making a site available for a primary school potentially, we think, but we're still engaging with KCC on that in terms of whether that's something they want or they don't want, because it's not clear whether that might go on one of the other sites in the wider context of the emerging plan.
Councillor Saunders.
I think Councillor Martin was before.
Right, sorry, yeah, Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Agnes. Just a quick one on the, you said about the primary school there. I do know that KCC's education department do seem to vary where they want one quite often. If that doesn't go ahead, is there any plan for anything else in that vicinity?
Well, I mean, currently that part of the site was in the current plan was allocated for more commercial, so it would potentially be a second phase of commercial. But I mean, as my understanding is that there isn't a need for a primary school in the life of the current plan, but the current plan is about to expire in a year or two, isn't it? I believe is that right? I think I'm right about that. And it's about the next 5-year housing land supply going forward from there. I think there is a need for a primary school, but it might be that they prefer to see it tacked on to an existing I think that the KCC might want a site that can accommodate both a primary school and a secondary school. It's not clear. Our site can't accommodate both; it's not big enough, but the adjoining site could. So I know that the adjoining site, I know that they're potentially amenable providing a school on the adjoining site, which is owned by sometimes there's some confusion. It's owned by Edward Vincent Limited, not the Vincent Trust. So that's the site, the other side of the North-South Ridge. But also, it's possible that KCC are looking at other alternatives. I'm not entirely sure where we are on that, but we have made it known to them that we could accommodate a school on part of the site.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councillor Saunders.
Yeah, I suppose it's pretty fundamental for the town that we encourage people to not use their cars to come into the centre of town and get more people to walk and cycle. Is there anything you can tell us about how that?
Yeah, we've actually. I mean, we've
activity is being encouraged.
Yes, I can. Yeah, I mean, we've done some. We're presenting on Thursday this week some plans to the local authority that show how we intend to do that with connectivity in terms of more public footpaths and linking the development with the town and making it easier to encourage bike use. And I believe that Crest Nicholson have also. I mean, presumably have you seen the application they've made for the further phase?
Yes, we have, haven't we?
Yeah. But that doesn't include some of the bit we're working on with the public open space. We're working with another developer on that called Fernham Homes, and we're also working with Harrison's, and we've got with respect to providing some employment use on the site, and we're looking at potentially spec building some offices, provided we get planning, of course, to enable some employment use. So it'll be sort of what we're envisaging is office suites with sort of 1.5 to 2,000 square feet, maybe 2,500 square feet, which we think there's a pent-up demand for, but it's very hard to see that coming forward without the infrastructure in, which we're looking to put in, because that's part of the original 106 So we are working with that, but we're redesigning it so that it can accommodate things that the planners like to see with respect to the wider plan in terms of schooling and other infrastructure. So that's what we're working on. But I mean, I think we'll see how that goes with the planners, and I'm sure you'll see something from us, sooner rather than later on all that.
Thank you. Councillor Irwin.
Yeah, it was just a question related to the relationship and coordination with other landowners. We've previously spoken with Atwood, who I understand own a significant site to the east.
Yeah.
Clearly, any walking or cycling paths or other infrastructure developments have to be done in coordination with those other landowners and in time developers. Can you say anything about your relationship?
Yes, I can. Yeah, I mean, the land that Atwood is promoting isn't all his land. Some of it's his land. It's the Atwood Trust, but the majority of it is actually owned by Edward Vincent Limited. Edward Vincent Limited are relatives of people in the trust, but it is a separate entity, and any connectivity from our site would be connecting into their site. Would not, although Atwood is promoting it from a planning perspective, I'm not sure what arrangement EVL have with him, but he's sort of steering it. But any connectivity would be not on his site per se, but on the site that he's promoting. So it would be between EVL and the EVL are the farm company that were farming the land that we've taken back from them. So it's got vacant possession, and they're no longer farming it. They have retained some of the farm buildings on Love Lane, but I don't know how how serious they are about keeping those, because it's not particularly practical. They've got farm buildings at your farm, but we would envisage if a school, for instance, goes on that part on their site on the other side of the North-South Ridge, we would certainly see connectivity between the two sites, and it's something we've had meetings with both Atwood and EVL, and we're certainly working together in terms of trying to have a joined up approach with the council in terms of bringing forward more development land.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? No, I can't see anyone with any other question. So thank you, Angus. It clearly is a time of things not being quite settled yet, but I'm sure we'll get there. You will get there.
Yeah, I mean, there's also, there is money being held in an escrow account for these Section 278 highway works, and there's also money there's also money being held by KCC for one of the contractors to do some of the Section 278 work. So there's no issue from a financial perspective. These works not happening, just to make that clear.
Thank you. Yeah, that's perfectly clear. No other questions? No, I'll say good evening and thank you very much.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
And we do have the public in, so the Mayor will allow a maximum of 15 minutes for any public questions. I think not. I don't have any. So we could move on to the agenda. Apologies for absence.
Apologies received from councillors Kavanagh, Hook, Perkin and Rowlands.
And Mike Henderson was trying to phone me as we started the meeting. His apologies as well.
Okay, noted.
Thank you. Item 2, declarations of pecuniary and non-pecuniary interest. Members who have an interest to declare must declare the existence and nature of it at the start of the meeting. Do we have any of those this evening? Didn't think it looked like there were. No? Great. Oh, did someone?
Okay, I was just wondering if we're still quorum, but we are, that's fine.
Yeah, we got, yeah. Okay. Right, item 3, to receive and accept as a true record the minutes of the Town Council planning meeting held on the 21st of June. I looked at these yesterday. I'm happy. Is anyone willing to propose this? That we accept these? Councillor Williams. And seconder, Councillor Martin. And can we all vote to accept the minutes? Thank you. To receive the planning schedule dated the 21st of June. Again, it looked. Are there any queries that anyone has been able to find? No. Councillor Williams.
I'm happy to propose we accept those.
Thank you. And seconder, Councillor Martin. And are we in favour of accepting those? All those in favour? Thank you. That's the schedule. Item 5, to consider and make representations to the relevant authorities on parking planning applications. So we have here 2150-3312 TCA, Faversham Rail Station Road, conservation and notification to pollard ash tree with ash dieback disease to a height of 4 metres in preparation for felling for proposed and approved planning works application number 19506-143 full. The tree is dangerous, so we'd like to apply for a 5-day exemption so the work can be carried out as soon as possible. Councillor Williams.
Thank you. I'm aware of this particular tree because initially it was raised to me by a resident concerned about the state of the tree, and since looking at it and contacting the landowner, it is in a very poor state. I think it's a tree that is self-sown there but got very big, but it's half the tree has essentially died and it's kind of bits are falling onto the people's houses. So I think it's really important that they get this sorted, and obviously with ash dieback is quite prevalent in the area. So I would propose that we support the application to get it done as soon as possible.
Thank you. Any comments on that? No. Could we have a seconder? Councillor Saunders. And can we all vote? Thank you. 2150-3360 TCA 41 South Road conservation area notification to fell 1 elder. Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't see any reason to object on this. I think it's a tree that tends to get a bit out of control, and it's in a very awkward, it's up against the wall, I think. And I think, so I would propose no objection.
Thank you. Any comments? No? I'm happy to second that. And could we all vote? Thank you. 2150-3432 TCA 6 Nightingale Road conservation area notification to fell 1 magnolia, including the stump. Councillor Williams.
Might as well finish the hat trick on the trees.
Yeah.
It's a shame really, but I can understand the problem. It does seem like it's causing some problems, so I don't think we should object. So I'd propose no objection.
Thank you. Any comments? No. Have we a seconder? Councillor Saunders, and can we all vote? Thank you. 2150-2660 full 12 St Anne's Road, demolition of existing rear outhouse and shed, erection of dual pitch single story rear extension, including external alterations. Have we any comments on this application? Councillor Saunders.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the scale and style of this change is sympathetic to the house, so I would propose that we don't object.
I would second that. And can we all vote on that? Thank you. 2150 2742 full and 2150 2743 full. Priory Ward, Brent's Tavern, Upper Brent's, Faversham, change of use of public house to children's daycare nursery. Well, I'm quite happy to say I do know there is a shortage of nursery places, and I think this is being expanded along from Moonbeams, and I would see no reason to object. Any comments, Councillor Saunders?
I mean, I think it's a shame that we're losing another pub, but I
know.
How the world is. I think it's very good that it's going to, the proposal is to retain it as a building used by the public rather than it, you know, because I think the risk if that doesn't happen is it'll just become residential. And I don't think there's anything in the application that we shouldn't agree to. In fact, if anything, I'd suggest that I'd propose that we support the application.
Thank you. Councillor Martin.
I'm happy to support, to second the motion of support there. I think it's nice to see a unit like that coming into continuous use. Although I do bemoan the fact, I know this is the second public house that will have gone from that area in relatively short amount of time. But I can also understand there is still one in the area as well. So I think support the application. Thank you.
Thank you. No other comments? Could we vote on that? Thank you. 2150, 2952 full. 2 Granville Close, conversion of garage into habitable space, erection of front and rear extensions and demolition of chimney. Any comments on this application? Councillor Saunders?
I can't see any reason to object to this. I don't think it's unsympathetic to what's around it.
I would agree. Any other comments? No. Seconder for that proposal? Councillor Martin, and could we all vote on that? Thank you. 2150 30 78 full. 56 Plantation Road, erection of a single storey rear extension. Councillor Williams.
I think this is one that I can't see any issue with it. I think, I can't see any reason to object. That's what I'm saying. They're houses that have kind of a reasonable space in order to do that, and in fact, a lot of properties have done that already. So I propose no objection.
Thank you. Any other comments? No. Could we have a seconder? Councillor Saunders, and can we all vote? Thank you. And our final item is 2150 3304 full, 28 Saxon Road, single storey rear infill extension and changes to the fenestration. A resubmission of 2150 0313 full. So, and any comments on this resubmission? Councillor Saunders?
I'd be happy for us not to object to this. I didn't see anything for us to object to.
I didn't know. It's fine. Councillor Martin?
Yeah, I'll second that motion, Madam Mayor. I couldn't see anything. I think it's a bit more sympathetic than the last one. So let's say no objection to that. Thank you.
Thank you. And if we all vote on that? Thank you. And item 5, to consider and make represent. Oh, no, I've done that. Item 6, the new block names. Do we need to?
That was on the last agenda.
All right. Yes, got it there. Seconded by. So
yeah,
that's done.
we
Did
done.
that. Right, yeah, we're done. Thank you very much, everyone, for this evening. And I'll see some of you as we run down the road to the town council meeting in about 20 minutes. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.